ESPN listed players 27 through 31, projected draft picks 27 through 31, and they had in that area 3 wide receivers and 2 linebackers. The Broncos are picking at 28. They don't necessarily need a wide receiver. John Elway has talked about possibly getting linebacker depth. If you were the Broncos, are you still going to force an offensive line or defensive line pick, or are you going to take a linebacker or a wide receiver?
I'm going to get up because you're going to be forced to turn around. So in the Broncos offices, there's a big board.
Yep, I've seen it.
And so they have the players listed like 1 to 250. And they will put stars next to it. They'll put some insignia that indicates this guy has all field problems.
Yeah.
For those of you that have never been in there. And they had the board, and John Fox, they'd lock it. Did you ever see that where it was locked so people couldn't see it? So John Fox occasionally.
Well, so they close it. They can lock it.
So John
Okay.
Fox would tease me. He'd open up the board so I could see like parts of it. And I go, well, open up the whole board. And he go, no, I can't do that. Because I asked him about depth charts and things like that.
Yeah.
So they have this list. And there is a 28, which is where they're picking in the first round. Do you pick that guy?
So no matter what your need is, whoever you have ranked as the 28th best player, that's the guy you're taking?
Assuming that all the 20
Is that what you're asking me?
those 27 guys
Yeah.
that you have ranked have been taken.
Well,
you
it
take
depends.
that guy and he's a quarterback.
It depends how closely they rank 28, 29, 30, 31. If they rank that bunch closely, then I'm probably going to first draft more for need because it tells me that all those players are pretty similar.
That's the whole point, though. Let's say it's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And he is ranked 15th on your board.
Yeah.
And he falls to 28th. You don't need a wide receiver. You just got one
True.
last year. You
True.
got Emmanuel. You got Demaryius Thomas for another couple of years. That's my question: is do you take a wide receiver?
That's a great question.
Because people always say we're
Best
picking
player
the best
available.
player, and they don't do that.
Well, I'm a true believer in 99% of the cases that you take the best player available and you worry about it later.
Well,
because
then
somebody
why-
else will want that player. So if you want to make a deal, you can make a deal.
The best player in the draft is named Williams. He's a defensive end.
Right.
He's a Clowney type. Not a clown, a Clowney type.
Right.
So the Tampa Bay Bucks are not going to take him. They're going to take the best quarterback available.
There's a
in their
reason
mind.
the Tampa Bay Bucks are the Tampa Bay Bucks, though. They don't necessarily
But
take
again,
the best player
okay,
available.
so you're the
they
te-
go for need, even if it doesn't make sense.
So you're the Tennessee Titans, and Williams is still up there.
Yeah,
But you're going to take Mariota.
probably, but with the possibility that you deal him.
Let's say that he's gone. No, let's say that he stays on the board. They take Williams. You are the New York Jets at 5 or 6.
6.
And the best player up there is a linebacker that's the best linebacker in America. You think they're going to take that linebacker? No. They're going to take Mariota.
Again, it's a bad organization. They don't necessarily make good
Well, let's
decisions.
take
all the
a good
time.
organization. What would
Okay.
you call a good organization that's drafting
Let's talk the Broncos.
high?
Oh, that's drafting high?
Drafting high.
Oh, wow.
Got to pick from somebody. Or is a good team that had a bad year. I'm trying to think who. We should have a list in front of us.
Minnesota is a fairly well-run organization these days. They've got a fairly high draft pick, and they took a quarterback last year. Is that
Okay.
the scenario you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for a good team to prove that teams don't take the best player available. They take the best player available at the position where they have need.
Yeah.
But they lie about
Yeah,
it
but
all the
Wood,
time.
I
And
think there are
throw
variables.
that word around, but they don't tell the truth about it.
I think there are variables all the time.
So that's getting back to my point about the Broncos. If you are the Broncos and the best player available by 7 or 8 is a wide receiver,
Yeah.
White. Let's take our
A white wide receiver? No, I don't want him. Just kidding.
That's good. That's good for you. That is really good for him. Amani out of Alabama.
Cooper.
Yeah. If Cooper's still there, and he's
Well,
supposed
if he
to go in the
falls to
top
28, I think you might have to do something.
Well, you're proving
Wait, well,
Buffalo.
well, and here's something else. See, you have to look at your own roster and ask yourself, what do we do going forward if we take an Amani Cooper? They've got a problem with Demaryius Thomas right now. Maybe they don't want to pay Demaryius Thomas for 5 years, $65 million or $75 million. Maybe they say to themselves, you know what? We've got a pretty good stable. We're going to franchise. I'm just saying. You have to think about all these things.
Don't say stuff you don't mean.
You have to think about all these things.
What are the Broncos? What is the Broncos' goal this year? Is it to
win a Super Bowl?
Get a wild card?
Super Bowl or bust.
Okay, well, you want Demaryius Thomas, so you don't.
Sure.
You don't take Amani. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to take Amani Cooper if he falls that far.
But you know what they will do?
Alternative.
You know what they will do? They'll deal that pick to somebody who wants Amani Cooper,
and they'll get that team's pick later in the draft. Say it's Green Bay. Green Bay's behind the Broncos because Green Bay kind of wants what the Broncos want.
Yeah.
So they trade it to Green Bay and they get their second-round draft pick. That's what would happen. But I'm sitting here telling you that everybody knows what is their number one need.
Right tackle.
Okay, so everybody knows that. But if you're there, and the kid out of Pittsburgh, Clemens, is there, and there are so many debates about whether because he was late to that. He came from the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Whether there are a lot of people who go, he's still learning the position. He's a left tackle, all that kind of stuff. And Chris Clark sat here the other day and told you and me both that switching from left tackle to right tackle is really hard.
Ain't easy. Yeah.
Because at left tackle, you're using your right side, that's your dominant side. If you're a left-handed guy, like Tebow,
sure,
you can play right tackle.
Is he left-handed? Because he throws like he's right-handed. Just saying.
That's pretty good, too. Yeah. Phil Mickelson plays.
I don't need you to comment on every joke I make, by the way. I mean,
well, somebody has to because they'll laugh when
you don't have to tell people that's funny, that's not funny. Let them decide for themselves.
Okay. All right. It's your show, Mr. Big Stuff.
This portion of the Big Stuff is presented by the Celtic Tavern, the official sponsor of the Colorado Rapids. The Celtic provides a bus to every Colorado Rapids home game. You can tailgate for 2 hours before kickoff. That sounds like fun. They're just 2 blocks west of Coors Field on Blake. It is the Celtic Tavern.